Barack Obama had big part of 9/11.
Which part?
Not being around, always on vacation, never in the office.
Why do you think Barack Obama wasn't in the Oval Office on 9/11?
That I don't know. We'd like to get to the bottom of that.
What about what happened on January 6th? What do you think what happened there? January 6th,
The election day?
No, election day was back in November.
I don't even know what.
Do you know about January 6th?
No.
So when I say January 6th, that means just...
Nothing. I don't know.
That's just a day to you?
Yeah.
Did you hear about the insurrection attempt at the Capitol?
No.
So there's nothing Barack Obama could do to prove that he was born here?
If there was maybe witnesses that were attendants at his birth.
Like his mother? Would you listen to his mother?
No. She has motivation to lie.
So you don't trust Donald Trump's birth certificate either?
Yeah, because he's been here forever.
Well, how do you know? But what's your proof?
Well, his parents and...
But no, but they're biased. I'm talking about like people who could be in the room.
Why would they be biased?
Well, like, I'm just using your logic against you.
Okay.
And what's your source?
Just Facebook or Twitter. I mean, everything. And
So you'll look at like facts and bull. You'll put it all together.
Exactly.
You're the one that hates on the president of the United States on a daily basis, so move the fuck out.
You're the one that hates on the Constitution.
Except I don't hate the Constitution.
Yeah, you do.
The original Constitution.
What does that mean?
The Constitution that was made to be unchanged.
The Constitution was not made to be unchanged, you ass. What's a constitutional amendment?
Please show me where that says.
What's a constitutional amendment? Oh, hey, bud, do you like your right to own guns?
Oh, gladly.
Oh, do you know that was from a change to the Constitution?
Please show me that, actually.
The Second Amendment. What is an amendment, Caleb? You're amending it. You're changing it. An amendment is definitionally a change. In hell.
What's the most important issue in the governor's race here in Virginia?
Getting back to the basics of teaching children, not teaching them critical race theory.
And what is critical race theory?
Well, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because I don't understand it that much, but it's something that what little bit that I know I don't care for.
And what have you heard that you don't,
well,
that you don't like?
I'm not going to, I don't have that much knowledge on it, but It's something that I don't care.
Y'all, Trump just said today that the tariffs are doing so well, he thinks they're going to be the money we operate on instead of federal income taxes. He said to begin with, the people making $200,000 or less will be the first ones to go tax-free, baby. Looking forward to that. It just keeps getting better, y'all.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
This is who's taking over the United States, guys. These guys, check this out and listen into it because it gets crazy.
Empathy almost needs to be struck from the Christian vocabulary.
It does.
Empathy
yes.
is dangerous. Empathy is toxic. Empathy will align you with hell.
Absolutely.
This is crazy. I know we're not Kirk County. I know we're not Kerrville. I know we're not San Angelo or San Antonio. But hell, we're human beings. Help us. Give us what we need. We are a older community. A lot of our people don't have insurance. They don't have money. Kind of a forgotten community for Travis County. We're unincorporated. We are their unwanted stepchildren out here, unfortunately. We had no warning. Nobody notified us. 2:30 in the morning, people that could get out came to this parking lot. Nobody was here. No firefighters, no police, nobody. We did not see Travis County sheriffs until 10 o'clock the next morning, who were rolling through saying you all need to evacuate. I opened a TikTok page, walking through HEB, buying non-perishable groceries, saying we need help. Give me the media. Give me some official. Give me water. Give me anything we need, please. We have nothing.
Empathy is dangerous. Empathy is toxic. Empathy will align you with hell.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's video is yet another reminder of what happens when hate takes the wheel and common sense gets locked in the trunk. MAGA voters showed up in droves for Trump, chanting things like "send the illegals out" and dreaming up dystopian nonsense like throwing human beings into alligator-infested detention camps. And Trump, he boasted about it like it was a theme park ride. These people are not whispering this stuff. They're saying it loud and proud. To them, empathy, yes, that thing Jesus taught, is apparently demonic and a one-way ticket to hell. Imagine that. The literal foundation of Christ's teachings, now seen as weakness or wickedness. Amazing. But here's the kicker. These folks don't care that their actions hurt others. Not until it shows up at their front door. And for some of them, even then, they'll look you dead in the eye and say, "Yep, this is exactly what I voted for." If that's not derangement, I genuinely don't know what is. So grab your strong drink. I've got my espresso locked and loaded. Maybe grab a stress ball too, because it's about to be a wild, wild ride. Let's roll the clips.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think taking a video of myself talking about going to Mexico for dental work was going to cause people to give me death threats and threaten me in my messages.
In all of my wildest dreams, I completely expected you to come on this internet and cry about mean comments, as if your vote didn't just wreck hundreds of thousands of people's lives, snatch away their jobs, strip them of health care, and in some case, literally get them killed. People are being brutalized, deported, and left to suffer because of the policies that you voted for. And now you want us to feel bad for you, Karen, because the internet hurt your feelings. Be so for real.
Literally just wanted to post about how it was like cheaper to go to Mexico, and people are making it political because I voted for Trump. Like, I don't hate Mexicans. I just don't want illegal people coming into my country.
You got on here to admit to us that you're not educated.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
And didn't even understand that you were indeed voting for a healthcare system and that it is political. You also got on here to confess that your traditional provider of a husband has failed his family financially, and he's got his own wife smuggling herself into a shithole country across the same border she wants walled off just to get her teeth done by the same dangerous illegals she loves to demonize. A classic colonizer playbook. Go to another country, exploit their labor and resources to make your life better, but vilify immigrants when they try to come here to make their lives better.
The hypocrisy and delusion in MAGA is astounding, to say the least. I mean, the average MAGA voter has the research skills of a boiled potato. Because let's be honest, Daddy is their news source. If he says the sky is green and immigrants are personally ruining Christmas, they're gonna run with it. And it hurts your head and your heart, because these are the same people who will turn to immigrants and say, if you don't like everything about America, why don't you go back to your country? Meanwhile, Karen 2.0 just packed her bags, drove to Mexico, you know, the shithole country according to Daddy, and had the audacity to post about it. Like, what goes on in these people's heads? Is there just a hamster running in a MAGA hat screaming fake news on a loop? And before you think this is just a white folks thing, oh no, the MAGA brain fog is equal opportunity despite the fact that they hate DEI so much. You've got Latinos, you've got black folks, all proudly sipping from the Kool-Aid fountain like it's blessed holy water. Don't believe me? Just check out this next clip of this man and the one right after. You'll see for yourself. They don't read, they don't research, they just talk.
You think we're better off as black people now than we were before LBJ passed those policies?
Yes, brother, we can vote without the threat of violence. Are you talking about the Civil Rights Act of 1964? Is that what you're describing as a negative thing?
I'm not saying the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was, I'm talking about...
That's LBJ, I just want to be clear. That's LBJ who you said, were we better off before LBJ? LBJ signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
I'm talking about the war on poverty.
I just want to answer that one. I want to answer that specific one first. Was the Civil Rights Act of 1964 bad thing?
I agree with the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Thank you.
But at the same time, I'm also... put like this, I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery.
I don't know what that means.
I'd rather deal with the dangerous freedom of not knowing and controlling people with policies as much as possible versus the peaceful slavery of being married and tied to the government.
MAGA family, I was on TikTok Live and a fellow Trump supporter said that all he needed was my vote. I'll never be part of the MAGA family. and that I'm black, I'll never be accepted, but he just got my vote. Nah, that's crazy. Like, I love MAGA Nation, I love the MAGA family, and that breaks my heart that someone would speak to me like that right after the election.
So what you're experiencing is it's a two-phase system. If you engage in the first phase of it, the second phase of it is inevitable. From what you're saying, you are entering the second phase. We call that phase find out. You voluntarily participated in phase one. Fuck around. And now, phase two is coming along.
This Latino is very upset. That's because he voted for Trump, thinking, as he says, that the Trump administration was going to be better for our economy. The problem is, he's a business owner. He owns a detail shop. 100% of his clientele are Latinos. Latinos are the ones affected by this administration, whom he voted for. Classic FAFO.
You think that there should be rules about what is taught in school?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what wouldn't you like to see
Because
taught in school?
there's critical race theory.
Yeah, that critical race theory, as soon as I heard about that, I'm like, why are we doing this?
What is critical race theory?
I don't know. I haven't.
Right.
Let's be very clear about this. When Donald Trump says he loves the poorly educated, these two individuals are the prime example of why.
Wow. My brain hurts. My heart hurts. Honestly, everything hurts. But hey, keep sipping that coffee, folks, because we haven't even gotten to the meat of things yet. So apparently MAGA has beef with empathy, like actual beef. They think it's weak, demonic, dangerous, because, surprise, surprise, daddy doesn't do empathy. And if daddy can't feel it, you better not either. And what's wild is that this anti-empathy mindset is now bleeding into one of the most broken systems in the country, healthcare, which, let's be honest, was already clinging to life support. Coming up is a clip from a woman whose MAGA mom is now having a little come to Jesus moment, realizing the hard way that the policies she cheered for, yeah, they lack the very thing Jesus told us to have, compassion. But, you know, gotta keep that empathy out of the equation because God forbid we go to hell for caring about other people, right? Anyway, let's roll the clip.
Well, I just spoke to my mother who's in the nursing home. You know, she and my family have told me for the past 10 years to keep my mouth shut and to not offend people with my, political views, because my political views are let's take care of people. Let's not be assholes. And let's not lie about facts. Because immigrants are not more dangerous than the men that have my skin color. Never have been. Never will be. Ever. We are the predators. It's on every single map. It's charts and graphs, man. If you have problems with numbers, it's basic charts and graphs. Okay, but I digress. My mom called. She's already heard about what's happening at the nursing homes because she lives in a nursing home. Thank God my brother put her in a nursing home in Kansas and not Missouri. That's her only hope, is that she's in a blue state. Of course, Kansas is still full of a whole bunch of, my dad used to say, sunflowers and sons of bitches, but I loved Kansas. Missouri's the sons of bitches. Missouri's holding a special election, trying to get everybody redistricted because they are the bootlickinest bootlicking. What does Trump have on them? He's holding everybody hostage. But now, here's where they fucked up. They passed that big, beautiful bill, and everyone said, oh, we're going to get all these people that don't deserve Medicaid off of Medicaid.
Like the new big, beautiful bill?
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll probably lose our health care and our kids might suffer, but our leader's going to be richer, so we're okay with it.
Shit. Whatever. Y'all that don't understand how anything works, that's not how it works. There's nobody on Medicaid that doesn't fully qualify for Medicaid. They only look through your fucking doctor's records. Idiots. Okay, but my mom called, and she's not sure what she's going to do. And the only good thing, and if this video got out to my brother, he would say, yeah, there's my sister. We told that motherfucker never to vote for Donald Trump. My brother will be, there are familial responsibilities in 29 states out of 50. And what that means is, it's a little known fact that children are responsible for their parents. That's for their food, clothing, housing, and medical care. The children are financially responsible for their parents.
Yep. Them nursing homes finna not take Medicaid, so y'all better get them rooms ready for Meemaw and Pawpaw. Yeah, combine them kids' room, get rid of the den, man cave, whatever y'all got, scoot it over, because Meemaw and Pawpaw is coming to the crib.
Now, you may have had a bad mom. You may have had a horrible dad. But because of the fact that they are your parent, there is a little known fact called a filial, F-I-L-L-A-L, I believe it is, responsibility. Means that you are responsible for all of the bills, for all of your mother's medication, for all of your mother's welfare, for her clothes, for her food. Oh, she's not going to get SNAP benefits because we already cut all the SNAP benefits. So I hope you don't mind working a third job to take care of your mom.
Meemaw and Pawpaw will be at the crib in 30 to 45 days. All right? Yeah. Yeah. You can put that Trump hat and that shirt on your Meemaw and Pawpaw, but they coming to the crib. You can best believe that. If your in-laws use Medicaid, a lot of these services are going to not accept Medicaid.
And I told my mom this afternoon, good thing her son's Republican. The only family member in our family that is Republican is one of my brothers. And we don't know what the fuck happened to him. I mean, we're all Democrats. As far as the eye can see, we've got one lone Republican, but he's the one that insisted on voting for Donnie John. So now he's going to be finding out, because I have one brother that is not super healthy, not able to take care of my mother. And then I'm out here in California. I'm not bringing her out here. I don't even have a place to live out here where I could take care of her. Dadgummit. You know, I saw a gal that was a physical therapy tech, and she's like, well, they said they were going to send my dad home from the nursing home. So I went down a rabbit hole. What fucking rabbit hole? We've been telling you they were lying.
Today in fresh fuck around and find out news, we have Wendy, MAGA lady. I voted for Donald Trump to piss off liberals. It was really funny. I'm worried that I will lose my Medicaid now. I have type 2 diabetes with diabetic retinopathy. If I lose my health care, I won't be able to afford my meds and I will lose my vision. I am in tears. Please help me. I'm going to give you 3 things about this. Thing number 1, Wendy, for God's sake, how much of that Kool-Aid did you drink? You're on Medicaid. They've been making it painstakingly clear that they want to gut Medicaid, Social Security, all these quote-unquote entitlements for the last, 30 years?
I don't have that stupid Obamacare. I'm covered by the Affordable Care Act.
The Affordable Care Act is Obamacare, genius.
We told you they were lying. You don't need to go down a rabbit hole. All you need to do is listen to other humans. See, the only way that we were able to come from the East Coast to the West Coast is we got into a wagon trail with a bunch of other people and we circled our wagons together. We've always done that since the beginning of humanity. We listen to each other and take advice from each other. That's how we survive in this big, crazy, fucked up place called Earth. We have done that since we began speaking. We chose a leader, the person that was the smartest, the person that was the most qualified, no matter what color their skin was, and no matter where they went to college, or even if they had a cackly laugh. Apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene is sick of the good old boys club. You think? You think. The whole thing is a good old boys club. Trump is out here saying today that he's not going to give federal funds to anybody that doesn't support all of Israel's companies. You don't think he's not holding something over on those people? The Republicans that keep bending to him? Would you bend to that man? Can you imagine what it's like to be his wife? Can you imagine what that disaster is like? Every time she says something happened, he says, no, it didn't. Every time she wants to talk about something, all he's got coming out of his mouth are lies, lies, lies. Just more lies. Lies for her and lies for him. Lies for all of them. Because all they do is lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. So we have disabled people in our red states trying to decide, can I get to another country? Or do I just have to have a plan B here? Because I will not sit here with no food, no medicine, and no place to live. We've abandoned our elderly. And the people that act like they're surprised, we all fucking told you this was going to happen. But see, the big beautiful bill passage wasn't supposed to go into effect until after the 2026 elections. So they were smart enough. Oh, and a lot of things won't even go into effect until after the 2028 elections. Because your old boy's building himself a grand ballroom with gold chairs that he can just be hanging over. Dudes, the Republicans are in for a shock. 29 states where it is the adult children's responsibility to pay for everything for grandma and grandpa. You got a spouse that needs extended care? Fuck that. He's coming home now. We have no place to put our Alzheimer's people. We have no place to put our dementia people. We have no place to put our Parkinson's people. We have no place to put people after they've had a stroke. We have no place. Because see, what used to happen is people used to have things like health insurance that paid for nursing home care and long-term care. Didn't pay for it anymore. See, because our health insurance CEOs, they just keep cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting. They're the gatekeeper that keep us from our own medical care. Only place you're going to get good medical care for your grandma? Mexico. Hopefully you can get her down to Mexico City or Canada. Hopefully you have some sort of big in-demand job, which is one of the reasons why if you are an older woman, I don't care if you never wanted to be a nurse, if you never wanted to be a nurse anesthetist, if you never wanted to be a nurse practitioner, sucks to suck, now might be the time. If you thought you were too old, I tell you, one of the reasons, I mean, they're always going to need healthcare people everywhere. I don't care if you're an ambulance driver, I don't care what, but if you may need to get out of this country with your mother in order to get her care. I went through this a couple years ago, saying that I wanted to move my mother to Ireland, where she would receive care. She was too scared. She didn't want to leave Kansas City. Thank God my brother got her to Kansas and got her over to the Kansas side, where she's now on Medicaid from Kansas. She knows what's happening. These elderly people are going to be tossed in the street because these for-profit businesses, and they are all for profit, are not going to keep grandma and grandpa pay for their meds, pay for everything when they are not getting paid back by Medicaid. They won't be able to staff the place. The only way that any hospital stays staffed is through Medicaid reimbursements. And when those dry up, which they will, because our dumb friends thought that this Medicaid cut was only going to hurt able-bodied young men living in their mother's basement. Because the Republicans are lying. That's all they do is lie. So call your grandma or see her while you can while she's still here. Because this is going to be bad.
Wow, but her mom would probably vote for the man again and again. Imagine being so full of hate that when it's time to vote, you don't think about what will actually help you or your family. You just vote for whoever's going to own the libs. That's it. That's the whole decision-making process. No plan, no policy breakdown, no thought about healthcare, retirement, wages, or what's happening to the elderly in your own house. Just vibes. Just rage. And what makes it worse is they'll actually say it out loud. They're proud of it. You'll hear people bragging, "I just want to shake things up," or "He says what we're all thinking." Meanwhile, they're on Medicaid, their parents need a home nurse, and the guy they voted for is out here slashing the very programs keeping them afloat. There's something painfully ironic about watching someone fight tooth and nail to elect a person who's actively making their life harder, just because they've been taught empathy is weakness. It's like their entire worldview is built on the idea that helping others somehow makes you soft, or worse, a liberal. And that's how we end up in this mess. People so deep in their political identity, so afraid of looking wrong, they'll literally double down, even as the walls close in, even when their mom can't afford her meds, even when they're the ones standing in the ER wondering why nothing is covered anymore. They'll say, "This is what I voted for," like it's a badge of honor, like suffering is some kind of patriotic rite of passage. But it's not. It's delusion. And what started as a movement to drain the swamp turned into millions of people willingly drowning in it, just so they don't have to admit they were wrong. It's not even about Trump anymore. It's about spite. And spite doesn't fix a broken healthcare system.
I love it when people say, well, I'm glad we don't have socialized healthcare in the United States because I don't want to have to wait a month in order to get a doctor's appointment. And I really want to know where people live where they don't have to wait a month to get a doctor's appointment, or even more. When I lived in Indiana, I haven't really experienced what the healthcare wait times are like in Washington yet, but when I lived in Indiana, a month was pretty much like the minimum that I would have to wait in order to get an appointment with my doctor. And if I wanted to get an appointment during the beginning of the year, like in January when everybody's doing their mandatory health checkups for their insurance, then I would have to wait 3 fucking months. And it's not getting any better, it's getting worse because a lot of rural hospitals are shutting down because of the cuts to Medicare funding. And Republicans hated when I would talk about this, even though I am talking about Trump's main voter base, people in rural Midwestern towns where they have to drive an hour to get to a fucking hospital. And that's before Medicare cuts are gonna force a lot of these clinics to close. And these clinics that are at risk of closing are in areas where there's not a lot of alternative for people. They're in rural areas, underfunded parts of the country. If you're having a fucking medical emergency, you're screwed. Because even if you're doing an ambulance can bypass traffic and all of that stuff, they're still not gonna get to you very fast. We're talking about a 30+ minute wait just for the ambulance to get to your house, not to get to the hospital. And then they want to talk about the wait once you get into hospital, the triage. We have triage here in the United States too. Medical facilities in the United States are extremely understaffed. So if you go to the hospital when they just so happen to be seeing more patients than they can handle, which is going to be very often because they're not staffed for the amount of people they have to serve, then you're gonna have to wait for hours to get medical care. So yeah, the trade-off isn't you pay a fuck ton of money to get healthcare and then in return you don't have to wait during an emergency. That's not the trade-off because you still gotta fucking wait.
The next story is, honestly, just sad. It's a conversation between an informed young woman, someone clearly using her brain, doing her reading, and applying actual critical thinking, and her father who, well, let's just say he believes MAGA is always right, no matter what the facts say. She actually read what was in the big, shiny, beautiful bill, the one everyone keeps shouting about without ever opening a single page. And she tries to explain it to her dad, calmly, respectfully, and bless her heart, she really tries. Now, I'll do my best not to go too hard on him, mostly because his daughter is so composed and kind, and she deserves credit for even having this conversation. But once you see how he responds, how stubborn the belief is despite everything she says, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Let's dive in.
All right, I'm going to read to you a conversation that I had with my father. So this all started because I sent him a video of someone that was going through and reading the sections of the big beautiful bill that are going to negatively impact people. And I did this because I care about him and I wanted him to be informed if this is going to affect him, It's I don't know what medical care he has. I just wanted him to be aware. So I sent it to him and all I said is, this is a long one, but important. Nothing else. And this is what he had to say. I'm sorry, honey, but I can't believe that you believe this bull. This is exactly the same lies that the Democratic Party has been telling me for the last 10 years. I don't know who you is in this scenario because I was 15 10 years ago, all right? I was worried about my relationships with boys and my grades in high school. Every time you hear something, it's doom and gloom, and every terrible thing is going to happen. But it's all lies. Please wake up and quit being one of the sheep that follows the herd and believes everything you hear. Now, this clearly upset me because I don't speak to people like that, so I do not allow people to speak to me like that. And so I responded with, Dad, do not speak to me that way. I sent that because I care about you and don't want you to be negatively impacted. Do not speak to me in such a belittling and disgusting way. I'm your daughter. Your daughter. He then responds with, I'm sorry, honey, but I don't believe a word they say anymore. Who is they? Who are we talking about? Because I'm pretty sure the people in that video that I sent him were, number one, not politicians. Number two, do not side with either Republican or Democratic Party. They are just people reading the bill. Just reading the bill. I had to run errands, so I'm finishing the video now, sorry. So then I said, that doesn't make it okay to speak to anyone the way you did, especially me, your daughter, your child. I get pissed off seeing what's happening too, but I never speak to people like that. Something that frustrates me about that, him calling me a sheep and all that kind of stuff, the disrespect. Just there's no respect for me as a human, and me as his daughter, no less. He knows who I am. He knows the kind of person I am, that I'm a good person, that I'm educated. I am literally 50% of him. And he doesn't care. And the thing is, he comes to me with information all the time that is wrong. It's just and I show him where he's wrong. I used to. I don't even try that much anymore to like show him anything. The only reason I did for this is because it's a big thing that could affect him and I care about him. But he comes to me with information that is completely false and it frustrates me so much. Do I ever call him a sheep? No. Do I ever come at him and belittle him or make him feel stupid? No. No. So I don't get it. Like, I know why that's his tactic, okay? Years of knowing this man, my whole life actually. I know that he does that to make me feel stupid, to shut me up so that I won't talk about it anymore, and just kind of break me down a little, okay? But I've grown past when that worked. So then he said that he was like doing something, he was busy, we can talk later. And I said, we can talk later about it, but only if you've actually read the bill itself or watched a breakdown of it that goes through each section. If you haven't, there's not much to talk about. And that was me trying to be kind, to like let it, just go and be like, hey, it's all good. Everything's fine. It's not, but I'll pretend again. And this was his response to me saying that. If all these terrible things in this bill start affecting me and people like me that have always worked and did everything they could to support themselves and never relied on the government, on government aid, I will admit that I was wrong. But until I see the actual effects of it, I will stand by my beliefs. As President Reagan said, the 9 scariest words that you can ever hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I agree with that statement, okay? I will leave it at that and I hope our political differences won't ruin our relationship. I love you. If you know me, you know this isn't okay with me. This whole until it happens to me thing, that's not a good argument. That makes me think you're a bad person and that you're selfish and you don't care about other people. Yeah. And a lot of people rely on government aid. And those people include the elderly that can't work a job. Okay? We're not just talking about whoever you think fits that mold. And that's something that irritates me so much that he does, is he groups all of these people into one group and then hates all of them. So now I'll read to you what I said back. I'm sorry, Dad, but if you're going to react in the way that you did with that much hostile emotion behind your words, but won't even read the bill that we're talking about and will only care about damage being done if it happens to you or people like you, that doesn't make any sense. I know that was rambling, sorry. There's no reason for you to have the beliefs you do if you aren't educating yourself on what creates those beliefs. Calling me a sheep for believing the literal words on the document that I have read myself being signed into law because it officially passed the Senate is ridiculous when you haven't even read it yet. If anyone is a sheep, it's people that don't do research before making an uneducated opinion and tell others that they're wrong when others read the literal pages of the document and share it with them. Also, no party has been telling me the same things for 10 years. 10 years ago, I was 15. Girl, I was worried about boyfriends and my grades. That's it. My opinions are based on facts and reading official government documents. If that isn't enough for you to understand the level of education and understanding that I have, then I don't know what would. Stop saying anyone who thinks differently than you is a sheep. Stop saying that I'm all doom and gloom, acting like I have no reasoning to back up the information I show you. I sent you that video because it's important to know the impact this bill will have on the US. I sent it to you because I care about you and wanted to make sure you were aware of it. But also, you have to stop only caring when things affect you personally because other people that aren't you or like you matter equally as much as you do. Common sense, just humanity. Only caring when it affects you is selfish, and it's how laws are made that negatively impact all of us. And once the law is made, it's 10 times harder to make amendments to it or remove it. I'm sorry, but you can't keep belittling me and acting like I'm less educated than you when you are not even reading the documents that are being passed, This is the last text, okay? And just to be clear, political differences are one thing. Having different political views doesn't ruin relationships. It's when moral differences are there, but being labeled as political. These issues I have discussed with you are rooted in morality and humanity. If we have different moral standards, then yes, that does make it harder to have a relationship. The word political is used far too often to excuse low levels of morality, and that's not okay with me. Hey, it's just not. I want to have a relationship with you too. I literally sent you that because I care about you and your well-being. You can't keep acting like... Okay, clearly I was heated when I typed this. It doesn't make much sense. Bear with me. I meant to say, like, you can't keep acting like you don't see the way that you're talking to me and that the way that you're speaking to me would it make me have a tough time talking to you in the future. I don't speak to people like that, which is why I don't accept people talking to me like that. He did not respond. However, he did send me a video from Facebook about some man talking about the bill and how everything that I think about it is wrong. This man didn't show any of the document, did not list the number of the section that he was speaking about. He did not show any proof or evidence, and he had one of those inspirational songs in the background to make it less threatening and sound like it's not actually going to affect as many people as it is. I responded, Dad, ... read the bill. That's it. Just read it. That's all. I don't know. I'm just coming on here to vent a little bit because, girl, I could give a whole explanation on my relationship with my dad. It's been tough, but I love him at the end of the day and want to have a relationship with him, but he consistently is making it harder, and is like we're moving towards a point where I don't know. Like, I literally don't know. I didn't realize that he was this deep in the quicksand. Okay? And even if I offer help, he doesn't want it. He doesn't want to get out, so I don't know.
One of the most frustrating things about trying to reason with someone deep in the MAGA mindset, especially when it's a parent or a loved one, is realizing that facts don't matter to them the same way they matter to you. You're not just dealing with misinformation, you're dealing with identity level conditioning, and neuroscience can explain why. The human brain is wired for self-preservation, and part of that preservation has to do with our social identity, the groups we belong to, the values we associate with, the people we trust. Over time, especially in high-emotion political environments, beliefs stop being ideas we hold and start becoming part of who we are. And that's when things get tricky. When a MAGA supporter is presented with contradictory information, even calmly, even lovingly, even by their own child, the amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, can get triggered. It sends the signal threat incoming, not a physical threat, but a psychological one, a threat to their worldview, to their sense of belonging, to the idea that they're on the good team. That's why you often see immediate defensiveness, sarcasm, or total shutdown. Their brain isn't processing the information as new data, it's processing it as an attack. And here's the kicker. The more polite and informed the other person is, the more threatened the believer may feel. Because deep down, part of them knows the argument makes sense, and that triggers something even worse: cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the psychological discomfort we feel when two opposing ideas crash inside our minds. Like, I'm a good person who supports freedom versus I voted for someone trying to take away basic rights. Rather than sit in that discomfort and reevaluate their beliefs, which the brain hates doing, the average person will do something easier: reject the new information entirely and double down on the original belief. That way, they can avoid the mental chaos of confronting contradiction. This is especially strong in MAGA culture because it operates not just as a political movement, but as a social and emotional ecosystem. You've got groupthink, echo chambers, emotionally charged language, shared enemies, and a constant reinforcement loop from media and peers. It rewards loyalty and punishes doubt. That's cult psychology 101. So when someone's daughter calmly explains what's actually in the bill, she's not just talking to her dad. She's talking to a belief system that has fused itself to his sense of self. He's not rejecting her, he's defending the version of reality that makes him feel safe. It's tragic. It's infuriating. And it's also why we have to approach these conversations with a deeper understanding of how belief works in the brain. Because once a belief becomes emotional, tribal, and tied to identity, facts alone will never be enough. Have you experienced this in person? Let me know below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.